Hello, and welcome to another update video on Bitcoin. So we see some green candles today. I nearly forgot how they actually look, so it's good to see some green again in the charts. We can currently see that the pullback that unfolded from the all-time high, basically, is currently attacking the August low. So I'm going to zoom in and take a look at that. Quick reminder here, the move to the upside from the April low can be considered a 5-wave pattern. Explained that in yesterday's video in detail. So the orange scenario shows how, let's say, a major top could look like. So it is entirely possible, that we have formed 5 waves up and that we're now ready for a bear market. Okay, this is way too early to confirm. I've been highlighting over the last few days that we need a 5-wave move down to confirm that and a break below support as a first confirmation. So I need to see 5 waves down and or a break below 101,569. That would give further confirmation for that. It would be like this, we would get 5 waves down, and then this could be, for example, a larger wave 1 even, then we get a wave 2. That could be a short trade setup. Then there will be a wave 3, a wave 4, and a wave 5, and that would be the first major move down in the bear market in a larger correction. Again, not preferred until I see really 5 waves down and 3 waves up, but it's something everybody needs to know about. A few days ago, I made a video about the weekly chart. The weekly chart tells a story. The weekly chart explains the risk is high. It's been doing so for the last few months, and everybody should know that, okay? So in a sense, then, the context is very important to understand. The context hasn't changed on this chart for, I don't know, more than a year. Okay, so my targets have basically been reached. Would still like to see that final push to maybe 130K, but the entire bull market has unfolded nearly flawlessly. The idea was that down here, we would get 5 waves up in an impulse. We did get the 5 waves up we wanted to see. Any Elliott Wave is always tracking for 5 waves because it is the pattern the market moves in, and Bitcoin proves that. Wave 1, Wave 2, Wave 3, Wave 4, and Wave 5. So we are tracking these 5 waves here to the upside. The 5th wave to the upside appears to be in the extremely late stages. Maybe we've topped already. It's just the question is just on the nano level, do we get that one more high? All right. So anybody who's invested here on the macro level just needs to understand the risk. Yeah. In my view, it's too early to get bearish, but it's not too early to get cautious. So there's a major difference between being cautious and being bearish. Okay. So those words of caution, I try to blend them into the videos whenever I cover the daily chart. So that should all be clear. So that everybody is prepared when we get 5 waves down or when we break support. Okay, that is actually at some point expected. All right. So, but again, we don't have those 5 waves down yet. And the question always that I need to answer kind of proactively here, people ask me, yeah, but when Bitcoin puts a top in, what happens with the altcoins? Well, they will follow. And I've always said that regardless of where the altcoins are in their cycle, once Bitcoin puts a major top in, they will follow. Yeah. And don't tell me that first Bitcoin, then Ethereum, then altcoins. This is not when Bitcoin puts a major top in place, that's it. It's been like that in 2021. It's been like that in the, when the bear market started before that. So yeah, there are always a few exceptions, right? But the ones that were exceptions in 2021 or early 2022 that pushed to another high, well, they just formed high B waves. They just high corrective rallies. And yeah, so, but most of them followed Bitcoin into the crypto winter. Okay, so it's just something to think about. I always post about that. I talk about that. It's all there. But I understand that not everybody gets the message because there's a lot of info out there. It's just something to, if that interests you, dig deeper. Okay. Looking at the shorter time frame then for Bitcoin here. Oh, hold on. Let me just zoom in first a bit. So the idea is that in the orange count, I'm watching for 5 down. That doesn't mean I expect it. I'm watching for it. I have to scan it. That's part of good analysis work. From a bullish point of view, I see it as a 4th wave pullback. I slightly prefer that still. That means we have room. Yeah, a lot of room. This is the wave 4 support area. and Bitcoin has reached it. The move down doesn't look exactly finished. Someone asked me yesterday, okay, could it be that we form a broader wave 4? Yeah, of course. I mean, that can always happen. Now, this is the zone where wave 4 should complete. We currently have a 3-wave move down. I'm tracking it as a WXY structure. But whether that WXY is all of the wave 4 or it's just going to become a broader wave 4, we will have to see. Without a 5-wave move up, like a 1-2 setup to the upside, 5 up, 3 down, we don't have a local setup. That's very important to understand, okay? So over the last few days, you know, I haven't seen any, I haven't called a low in place or anything, right? For good reason. So there hasn't been any micro 5-wave move up. If I see that, and I've charted this here in more detail on the smaller time frame, if I see a micro 5-wave move up, it could at least be an indication that a B wave is unfolding. So A wave, B wave, C wave, or maybe already the next leg up. But until I see a micro 5-wave move up and a break above our green line here at $115,950, there's no sign of a low. I have to say, though, that Bitcoin, of course, now has reached those previous swing lows. So we're testing structural support and the Fibonacci support level, which is the 23.6 Fibonacci retracement, right? So basically, I think the focus for today is on whether the bulls can make it above this green line here at $115,950. So this would be important. Question is also maybe can we define some trend lines here? Maybe this one. Not sure how relevant this really is. It's a bit steep. Okay, when they are very steep, these trend lines, they can give kind of false signals because they get broken quite easily. Okay. But yeah, I would say a break above this green line indicates that at least the bulls make a comeback temporarily. Then we can think about, okay, is it just a B wave? Ethereum is, for example, recovering. I think Ethereum might just be working on a B wave, but we'll talk about that in the Ethereum videos. So bottom line is, as long as we don't get 5 waves down, as shown here in orange, yeah, which would basically involve one more low, then a lower high, then a lower low, I would prefer this to be a 4th wave. Okay. So yeah, that's the update on Bitcoin. I hope you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. And if you really like the content, then please check out the channel membership. Also, I invite you to join us on X for additional updates. So you'll find here additional video updates, chart updates, commentary, news, all sorts of things. It helps if you have some humor on X. Yeah. So this is not the place for necessarily a serious analysis feed all the time. But yeah, there's a lot of additional stuff there, so check it out. Hope you enjoy it, and I post a link to our X profile in the video description and the comment section. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.